Students, how are you? I hope you all are doing good and learning a lot from the videos. So welcome back to the economics class. Let's start our today's video. We are continuing from the chapter 6 banking. In the previous video, you learned about RBI and its functions and very important concept of method of credit control. Today, you will learn about RRB, NABARD, and institutional setup in India in detail. So, let's start with the first topic, that is RRB. RRB, that is Regional Rural Bank, are Indian scheduled commercial bank operating at regional level in different states of India. They have been created with a view of serving primarily the rural area of India with basic banking and financial services. Let's talk about the history of RRB in India. The Regional Rural Bank was established on the recommendation of Narasimha Committee on Rural Credit with the view to developing the rural economy by providing for the purpose of development of agriculture, trade, commerce, industry and other productive activities in the rural area. Considering the recommendation of the committee, the Government of India passed Regional Rural Bank Act 1976. So after passing the act, within a year, at least 25 RRBs were established in different parts of India. Students, have a look on the number of regional rural bank in India. Date wise, it mentioned the number of RRB. The number varies. Now, according to the current data, there are 43 RRBs in India. So just look at the dates and the RRB's number. You can create your knowledge by learning this. Now have a look on the ownership of RRB. The central government hold 50% share in RRB and the state government hold 15% and whosoever sponsor the RRB, the commercial bank holds 35% in the share of RRB. Let's move to the objectives of RRB. So the basic objective of RRB is to provide banking services to rural and semi-urban areas. And it also provides the locker and debit and credit card facility to the countryside people which are living far away from the urban city services. And the another objective of RRB is to enhance employment opportunity by promoting trade and commerce in rural area. And the important objective of RRB is to support the entrepreneurship in rural area. Whosoever want to create a new business in rural area, RRB support them. And most effectively, pensions and Mahatma Gandhi Narega wages distribution were also operated by RRB. So RRB are regulated by RBI. It means the rules and regulations are provided by RBI and it is supervised by NABARD. Yes, NABARD is our next topic to study. One more thing, all the states have RRBs in India now except Sikkim and Goa. NABARD, the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, a developmental bank, came into existence on July 12, 1982 under an act of parliament with an initial capital of rupees 100 crore. It is an apex institution set up for providing and regulating credit and and other facilities for the promotion and development of agriculture and small scale industries, cottage and village industries, handcraft and other rural craft. So the main function of NABARD is that NABARD provides refinancing facility to commercial bank, state cooperative banks and central cooperative banks. Basically, it provides refinancing to agriculture, small scale industries and other village cottage industries by lending to commercial banks. As I told you in the history, that it promotes rural industries, small scale and cottage industries including tiny sector by providing loan to commercial and cooperative banks. It strengthens the cooperative structure in the state by providing loan to both state cooperative banks and also to land development banks. The bank provides fund to state government for undertaking developmental and promotional activities in rural area. Though industries get finance from commercial banks, but the quantum and the term will be very much limited generally. Commercial bank lend for short term only, as they get only short term deposit from the public. Hence, there is a need and urgency of establishing long-term credit facility to industries. For promoting industries, institutional setup was made at the level of India and state level also. That is, all India level institutions and state level institution. All India level institutions include Industrial Finance Corporation of India, that is known as IFCI. Second one is Industrial Credit and Investment Corporation of India, that is ICICI. Third one is Industrial Development Bank of India, that is IDBI. And at state level institution, State Financial Corporation, that is SFCs. Second one is State Industrial Development Corporation, that is SIDC. Let's study one by one these all. So the first one is Industrial Finance Corporation of India, that is IFCI. IFCI was set up in 1948 and Industrial Finance Corporation of India, a statutory corporation through the Industrial Finance Corporation of India Act 1948 of Parliament to provide medium and long-term finance to industry. Initially established in 1948, the IFCI was converted into a public company on 1st July 1993 and is now known as Industrial Finance Corporation of India Limited. The authorized capital of IFCI is 250 crore and the central government can increase this as and when they wish to do. So let's have a look on the functions of IFCI. To grant loan and advances to or subscribe to the debentures of industrial concern. Basically, IFC provide the loan facility to the industries or they subscribe to the debentures of that particular industries. The second one is to underwrite the issue of stocks, shares, bonds or debentures by industrial concern. Somehow, when the industries fail to sell their whole shares at that time, IFCI came and they bought their shares also. That is known as underwriting facility. To extend guarantee in respect of deferred payment by importers, to subscribe directly to the stock or share of any industrial concern. So the next point is Industrial Credit and Investment Corporation in India. It was established in 1955 as a public limited company under Indian Company Act for developing medium and small industries of private sector. One important thing here I want to mention, that is in March 2002, the ICICI was merged with ICICI Bank and created a in India. With this merger, ICICI does not exist anymore as a developmental financial institution. Now have a look on the functions of ICICI. It was providing finance in the form of long-term or medium-term loan or equity participation, sponsoring and underwriting new issue of shares and other securities, making fund available for reinvestment by revolving investment as rapidly as possible, providing project advisory services, offering advice like to private sector companies in the pre-investment stages on government policies and procedure, feasibility studies and joint venture search. The next one is to central and to state government on specific policy related issue that ICICI provides the advice to the both central and state government. Now let's move to the Industrial Development Bank of India, IDBI that is. It was established under Industrial Development Bank of India Act 1964. It is the principal financial institution for providing credit and other facilities for developing industries and assisting development of institutions. Let's move to the functions of IDBI. So the functions of IDBI is here. That is, the first one is direct financial assistance. Under this, the IDBI provides a direct finance assistance to the industrial concern in the form of granting loan and advances. Also, subscribing or purchasing or underwriting the issue of stock, bonds or debentures. Let's move to the next point, that is indirect financial assistance. The IDBI provides indirect financial assistance to the small and medium industrial concerns through other financial institutions. So basically it provides direct financial assistance and also it provides indirect financial assistance to the industries. So the next point is development assistance. It is very important point here. Note it down. The creation of Development Assistance Fund is a special feature of the IDBI. The fund is used to provide assistance to those industries which are not able to obtain fund in the normal course, mainly because of heavy investment involved or low expected rate of return. Assistance from the fund requires basically the prior approval of the government. So the next point is promotional function. Beside providing financial assistance, the IDBI also undertakes various promotional activities such as marketing and investment search. It provides technical and administrative advice for promotion and expansion of the industrial concerns. Let's move to the state level institutions which covered the first point, that is State Financial Corporation. In order to meet the financial need of small and medium scale industry units which are not governed by Industrial Finance Corporation, the Government of India passed State Financial Corporation Act in 1951 to empowering the state government to start financial corporation to promote small and medium industries in state. Besides, State Financial Corporation helps in ensuring the balanced regional development, higher investment, more employment generation, and broad ownership of various industries. Let's move to the functions of State Financial Corporation. The State Financial Corporation provides loan mainly for the acquisition of fixed assets like land, building, plant and machinery. The SFCs helps financial assistance to industrial unit whose paid up capital and reserve do not exceed rupees 3 crore or such higher limit up to 30 crore as may be notified by central government. The state financial corporation underwrite new stock, shares, debentures, etc. of industrial units. The state financial corporation guarantee loans raised in the capital market by scheduled banks, industrial concern, and the state cooperative bank to be repayable within 20 years. Let's move to the next point. There is State Industrial Development Corporation. State Industrial Development Corporation was incorporated under the Company Act 1956, were set up in different states as state government. State Industrial Development Corporation are wholly owned by the state government. The whole money invested is by the state government. The main objective of SIDCO, that is State Industrial Development Corporation, was promoting industrial development in all states of the country. At present, there are 22 such State Industrial Development Corporation which are functioning in India right now, according to the current data. Let's move to the functions of State Industrial Development Corporation. So basically it provides the risk capital to entrepreneurs by way of equity participation and seed capital assistance. Basically there are few industries which tend to start a new business but having a lot of risk. At that time there are so many financial institutions which discourage them by investing their money in that particular project. At that time this SIDCO, State Industrial Development Corporation, came and invest the money in their business or in their project. The next point of the function is to provide financial assistance in the form of term loan or underwriting the direct subscription to shares and debentures and guarantees to all that risky capitals. So the next point is to administer incentive scheme of central and state governments. The next point is to undertake promotional activities like preparation of feasibility reports, conducting industrial potential survey, entrepreneurship development program, and developing industrial estates. Some State Industrial Development Corporation offers a package of developmental services such as technical guidance, assistance in plant locations, and coordination with other agencies. So students, that's all for today's video. In this video, we just have understand about the banks, the different banks which were established in India to promote basically the rural development and industrial development. Basically, RBI can't handle all these concepts in the country. That's why for the need they established different rural banks and different industrial banks for promoting the development in the country. Basically, we in India, we are just promoting the cities, states, but we are lag behind in the rural area. For a balanced growth or for a balanced development, we need the development of rural area. And how can it be possible? By making these banks available in that particular remote areas, because that people are not approachable to the banks by their own. That's why government takes initiative to reach at the rural areas, to reach at the rural people by providing the financial services so that they can also give their best in the development of the country, so that they can get the finance for starting their business. There are a lot of banks in the rural area which are providing the venture capital. What is venture capital? The capital which is invested in the risky projects. Risky projects means which needs a heavy amount of investment but expecting a low rate of return. At that time, who can only help? The government. And how the government is helping the rural areas? By establishing these types of bank. And you know what? Why NABARD came into existence? Because our 70% of the population is engaged in the agriculture. For that reason, the government is basically approaching to the agriculture sector by providing the money to them, by providing the finance to them for the long term or medium term loan basis. Because in the agriculture sector, they have to go with the machineries, tools, they have to invest in the agriculture. So that's why they require the finance. For that reason, the government established a lot of financial institutions to help these sector. One more thing, the commercial banks are basically focusing on the large scale industries. But what about the small scale industry, the tiny scale industries? For that reason also, the government established the state level institutions to promote that small businesses by giving them finance and by giving them, most importantly, the advice, so that how can they reach or how can they match the level of large scale industries. By they also promote them, they also give the advice how to start a new business. So what we have learned today is the explanation of different banks. Here there is no need to explain something, but you have to understand the points or understand the bank, what services they are offering. That's why it's a complete explanation about the banks, how it's set up, under which act it's set up, or which services they are providing. You just have to understand what thing they are providing, what different banks are providing the services to different sectors. So here you have to learn these points in short. Basically what I want to explain here is you have to learn these points when these banks set up, under which act they set up, under which sector they are covering. So understand this video carefully. So here are your assignment questions. The first one is explain the RRB in detail. The next question is what is NABARD? Explain its functions. Third question is explain the institutional setup on the basis of all India level institutions and state level institutions. So that's all from my side for today's video. Thanks. Assalamu alaikum students. Take care.